Hi, and welcome back to my podcast. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Elisa, and I like to share with everybody here on the internet my favorite things that I'm knitting, and honestly everything that I'm knitting, and whatever type of yarny fun stuff I have going on. I have just really enjoyed sharing this and kind of documenting it. So I do a pretty typical standard podcast, and I don't have much to share today, but I have made like some progress on some things, I've frogged some things, and I have some different ideas that I want to cast on. So I also have a finished object. So I guess technically there is quite a bit of new stuff going on, but I figured I would share it with you. So today is currently, I think March 9th. It's my sister's birthday. Wait, no way. It's March 11th. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's March 11th and I'm a terrible sister and I forgot my sister's birthday was on March 9th, so I just sent her a late birthday message. In all fairness, I have a lot of siblings and I was really busy this week. Okay, regardless though, welcome to my chaos, I guess. But let's get back to the knitting podcast. So today I decided to wear one of my vests that I made. This is actually my own pattern. I didn't follow a pattern. I didn't even write a pattern. Well, I kind of wrote down what I did, but I didn't actually write a pattern for it. But it is just this really cute cabled v-neck. Very, very simple. It's a little bit cropped because I just used up one skein. Didn't really feel like going into another. Actually, I might have used some scraps and that's part of why. But yeah, it's just a really simple cabled pattern. Really nothing to it. The v-neck here is kind of a little bit off. Oh, that's really like washed out, sorry. But yeah, and I'm just wearing it with a regular white turtleneck underneath. I made this in, I want to say September. I think I knit it in the entire month of September. It might have been October, but it really was more so as like just for fun, kind of exploring. And my goodness, okay, I made this with Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and it, like when I washed it, and I washed it in the bathtub first, when I washed it, there was so much dye that came out. I was so happy I didn't wash it with anything else because it was scary, the amount of dye that came out of this. So that might be something that a lot of people are already familiar with, but if you're not, Red Heart Super Saver acrylic yarn might be one of the most like insane yarns that like just bleed everywhere. I think I had to wash it like 3 times before it stopped. So this again just did not take me very long. I knit it bottom up, I believe, and I started in the round because I didn't want to have to seam anything. So I knit it bottom up, split for the arms, and then stopped in the middle and then knit one side and then knit the other side and then knit the back panel and then just did two little seams up here. And then I did just some nice simple little ribbing around the arms and the neck. It's a little bit, it's not really snug on the armpits. It is a little on the neck. I originally did like a regular bind off and then realized that was not a good idea because I couldn't get it over my head. So I went back and did, I think I did the Jenny's super stretchy bind off, I think is where I learned that skill, was in this. And it has worked fine. I haven't needed to go back and fix anything. So yeah. Also, I do want to say I apologize if my glasses are a little bit distracting. I'm trying to keep my head a little bit lower, but this way I can still see everything that I show you. But yeah, like it can be a little bit of an obnoxious glare. So I will just try to keep my head at an angle, just slightly down. So that is what I'm wearing, and I made this last year again. The first thing that I have to share with you guys then is this really cute little crochet bag that I made. And these, okay, let me just show you first. This I made with the yarn that I was making a blanket with. If you watched the previous podcast, I was originally casting on a blanket that I was like gonna do a garter stitch blanket where it was like at an angle, and I really liked it at first, but then I realized like I don't have the patience to knit this all year. And I get that it's a mindless knit, but I just use socks for my mindless knits, and I just was kind of getting annoyed with having to knit an entirely huge blanket. It just was not working in my brain. So I frogged that, and then I saw like these on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They were like a sunflower pattern, and I thought that was adorable, but I wanted to use the yarn that I had. So I made these really cute. I think this is called the Starburst pattern. I could be wrong. If you know what it's called, definitely leave it in the comments. But here she is. I just did this cute little, I think it's called Mocha, and then vanilla is the white, and then this was Cinnabar, and then I don't remember what this one was. But I think it's so cute. The only thing is I accidentally seamed the top sides. So you're not supposed to seam this side or this side, but I accidentally did. So now it's just this small little gap, which is a little bit not very useful, but I don't know, it's still cute. I think it was like a Romanian chain is what it was called, but it's this really nice chain. It does a really good job of like staying very strong and sturdy. And I liked how it looked. I thought it was just such a cute little fun bag. If I grab muslin to stick on the inside of this bag for a lining, I think it would be a lot more useful, and like I can actually put other things in here than maybe like clothes. So anyway, this is my cute little bag, and then I attempted to do a join as you go stitch for connecting them, rather than just doing a simple slip stitch for the pattern I was originally following. But I wasn't able to do it completely seamlessly. I had to cut the yarn at one point and then make a new section because I just couldn't map it out correctly. And I kept switching. I could not get this wrapped around my head of how I was supposed to connect it, and I kept switching like the squares because I kept forgetting where I was and like what was next. But anyway, she came out. She looks cute. I like her. I think it's a nice sling size and even like off the shoulder. So yeah, I think it's really cute. I might make more because I have a lot of acrylic yarn that I want to use up, and I think cute little bags like this would be a great way for me to use that up and then either give them as gifts or maybe I can like sell them or something. I have no idea. Anyway, that is finished object of the week. The next thing I want to share is technically like on my whips. Yeah, I mean not even technically. It's my whips, and these are a pattern that I'm kind of doing on my own. I previously finished, I recently finished the Cargill Cowl by Rebecca Clow from the Crayabea Knitting Podcast, and I really enjoyed the finished object. I didn't really love the knitting process, but I think after further like review and reflection, it's just the yarn was not a good choice. I don't like knitting with this yarn in general. I got it as one of the first yarns in 2021 when I really got into knitting. I got it to make a cardigan, and I don't know where that cardigan went, but also I don't really like using it, and I think it's because I've gotten more of a taste for other types of yarns like wools and that sort of thing, but I haven't really enjoyed knitting with this. but it's Big Twist yarn Spice, I think is what it was, and it's in the colorway Rust. But I wanted to knit a matching pair of mittens for my cargo cowl because I had a whole skein left still. So this is how the backs of them are going, and here's the front. And if you notice, I actually had to stop doing the dip stitch here because it was creating a like tighter fabric than obviously the stockinette. So I would have had to like make short rows or some sort of shaping to make up for the fact. So like this, for example, would be like right here, but on the back of my hand, the fabric would be like this. So I was gonna have like way too much length on the front compared to the back. So I decided to just cut my losses and finish the dip stitch here and then just knit the rest in stockinette. And I am following just a really simple free pattern. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I kind of just also made up my own stitch count, so I'm not really following the pattern. I really just got the inspiration for the gusset and the thumb from that pattern. But I don't know, it's again the same thing, not really loving working with this yarn, but now that I'm not doing the dip stitch anymore, it's been a little bit more easy and worked up pretty quickly. So I think I'll finish these probably this weekend. And I was debating about just leaving it here and then having like fingerless mitts, and I think that's actually a really cute idea too. I just don't know if like I'll want to make another pair, but I really did just want to have actual mittens too. But like that'd be pretty cute too. I did simple like 1x1 ribbing for the cuff, and then I did a rolled hem because I wanted to. And yeah, I am just keeping these nice and in this little bag that I sewed, and I broke the yarn, not very evenly, but I did break it in half, so that way I can knit them 2 at a time. The reason I don't like working with this yarn is, if you can see, it's very, very, very like fuzzy. There is a thick halo on this, and it's terrible if you have to rip back. It's awful, and it gets really, really sticky. It loves to cling to itself, and it doesn't move very smoothly on the type of needles that I have. So I typically knit with bamboo needles, and these just love to catch, and they don't really glide very nicely on it. So this has just not been a very enjoyable knitting process. But I want to finish them. In fact, it's snowing pretty heavily outside right now where I am, which is insane because my husband keeps reminding me that in 4 weeks it's going to be 60-degree weather, so the fact that we're getting like 4 inches this weekend is insane. But hopefully I can finish these and actually wear them in the winter before the season is over. Because once that happens, I think I'm like gonna be done, honestly. I'm probably just gonna be done with, I'm going to be done with accessory winter knits. I was definitely on a high though this year, and I think part of that was because I made a lot of gift knits, like hats. I knit 2 hats as a gift, and I was gonna knit myself another hat, decided against it, decided to knit the cargo cowl, and then I was like, ooh, I want this. Knit a ton of socks lately, which I kind of count socks as accessories because they're quite small and easy to finish comparatively to a garment. So yeah, these again are just my hacked cargo, I shouldn't call it cargo mitts, but dip stitch mitts, inspired by the cargo cowl, which was a really fun pattern, and I really do recommend it. It was perfectly well written, very easy to read, and it was really enjoyable. So 10 out of 10 for that pattern. Just don't use this yarn. I do kind of want to remake it because maybe it will like give me a different idea of that whole process, because the whole process was kind of ruined from the yarn itself. And I know that because I loved the finished outcome. So I think if I just use a different yarn, I think the process would be much more enjoyable. That is the only width I have right now. I am planning on starting some other stuff. If you watched the previous podcasts, you know that I had the cute heart socks on the needles, and I was knitting those 2 at a time, and those were a toe up pattern. I decided I actually didn't like the way that the foot was looking, and okay, so basically I decided I was gonna knit size 1, then I started knitting straight, realized that was gonna be too small, so I went up to a size 3, continued the increases, then went straight, realized that was gonna be way too big, so I decided I needed to go down to a size 2, so knit some decreases, and then continued knitting straight pretty much until, like, I even started some of the gusset. I started doing gusset increases. And then I realized this looks like my sock literally looked like I had a giant square on the inside. So I was like, I don't like these, and I'm not working on it. I didn't touch it for like 2 weeks, which is not like me. So I was like, okay, I obviously am bothered by the way that these are, that I'm not doing the project, I'm not enjoying the project, I don't want to knit on it. I'm just gonna cut my losses, frog the sock, and start over, or maybe I just don't want to do that pattern right now. So I originally had it in this little bag, but now I just have this ball of yarn. So this is Hobby's Rainbow Sock Wool, and it is 75% wool, 25% polyamide, and it's in the color bright yellow, I think. Maybe it's soft yellow, I don't really remember. But this is very much like a limoncello yellow. It's very pretty. And I am gonna knit some really cute lacy spring socks. This is when I was attempting to make a colorwork sock that was FSU inspired, and I cut the yarn thinking I was gonna be done, and then when I tried it on, I was like, this does not even fit my foot. So I have this tiny little bit that I will probably just hopefully not need, but it is in here. So I probably will split this in half, and then more than likely I'm only gonna be able to get shorties, which is fine because I found a really cute pattern for shorties, and it's, let me look up the pattern name really quick, but it like screams spring to me, so I'm very excited to cast these on. So I am going to cast on the fern spring socks, and look how cute. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. I think these are adorable, and I think they would look really pretty in this color, especially because this feels very spring, like it feels very spring. So, oh, this is another bag that I sewed. Sorry, that was just such an abrupt change. I got this fabric from my mother-in-law. She is such a sweet person, and I thrifted these zippers. Back to the pattern though. It is such a delicate, intricate lace pattern, and I think it is so cute. I am really excited to try this because I've been in such a spring knits mood, and I think that lace like really envelops spring, at least for me. Like I feel like a lot of spring knits are very lacy and intricate, and just they look super delicate, and like they took a lot of effort, and they're lightweight and airy. So I'm going to attempt to knit some spring socks, and I think this is such a cute little pattern. It comes in 2 sizes, 2 sizes, the size 8 and the size 9, or in European sizes 20.5 or 23 centimeters. So I personally am a size 9.5, but I think a size 9 sock will fit fine. If you guys don't think so, maybe leave me a comment before I decide to embark on a sock that won't fit again. Oh, I should have talked about these. I'm also wearing my recently finished socks here. They are a pattern by myself, and it is knit with unique fingering yarn, and it is a self-striping yarn. They are so cute and I love them. I knit this one perfectly. The other one, unfortunately, I did not. It is ever so slightly too short on the heel flap and it continuously wants to ride down. But yeah, these are my cute little socks, and that was such an awkward way to share. But I did. So that is all that I have. I don't have any new acquisitions this week, which is probably good because I should not be spending more money on yarn, but we will see. I do want to share that I am working really hard on making a website so that way I can just put on all of the little patterns that I decide to make, or like hack in a sense. Obviously I won't be sharing like patterns that you have to pay for that are accredited to other designers. That's not what my goal is here. I just am trying to share like free patterns that I like made my own twist on, or whatever, like that sort of thing. Or if it was my own pattern, like how I made that. So I do hope to get that up soon. Hopefully I will have it at least started and linked below. If not, do subscribe, like the video, come back next week, and maybe it will be here. So I am really excited for all the stuff that I'm working on, and soon with spring coming and summer, I will be transitioning a little bit more towards sewing. Probably not a ton though, because I do have some really cool ideas for summer. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for chilling out with me on this pretty quick and short and sweet podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some inspiration, and maybe you can relate with me on having yarn that is not right for a certain project. In the meantime, happy knitting. I hope you have a great one, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!